Hey there. So, this is an episode I recorded with Riley Smith of the Business Insider podcast. And I wanted to share this because I talked through things such as networking, strategic partnerships, and even AI. And as business owners, we know that sometimes it can be very isolating and we feel alone. But, I just want you to know that it's okay, that everybody struggles with similar things. And as long as we focus and focus on the right things at the right time, we can get through this. That's why I wanted to share this on my own channel, and I hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Business Insider podcast, where we interview the top business leaders in their respective industries. Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm excited to introduce a special VIP guest. We've got Daniel Pope here. He is the founder and chief storyteller of a company called Be Known, and they specialize in generating new business for consulting firms, coaches, and advisors. Daniel, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, man.
Yeah, Riley, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So as you know, I've got a bunch of questions lined up for you, and I'm sure our audience is wondering, specifically what you guys do and really what the major outcomes are for your clients that work with you. So before the podcast, you'd kind of given me a brief rundown on what that looks like. If you wouldn't mind reiterating that to the audience, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So let's kick it back a few years, actually about 8 years, and I was in the shower. And so one day I was thinking to myself, I'm frustrated because why does the best known beat the best? And I was mulling on that, and in over the course of a couple showers, I realized my company name needs to be known. We want to help clients be known. Be known as the go-to in their field. And fast forward, time warp here, and here we are today. And that's what we do. We help our clients be known, but from a tactical standpoint, we work with clients who are passionate about their specific product or service. It's expertise driven. Like I said, consultants, coaches, advisors, they just don't know how to market. They don't know how to get leads outside of cold email or that one trade show a year that, it's taking a toll on them each and every year. And that's where we come in. They're kind of at that inflection point in the business. And yeah, it all started with a shower one day.
That's funny, man. That's hilarious. Now, if you had to define your superpower or the unique skill or insight that really sets you apart in your space, what would it be and how has it shaped your success?
Yeah, superpower. So if I were to put on my red Superman cape, I would say it's taking a complex subject, a funnel, a campaign, business growth, and breaking it down into stages, realistic stages for anyone to understand. And I've taken these concepts from all the books and mentorship I've received. Side note, Riley, I'm actually working on a concept called the Online Business Blueprint. More to come on that. But yeah, I'd say taking the complex and breaking it down into easy bite-sized chunks that are realistic. That's keyword in realistic, because we're not going to 50x a business overnight. We don't play in the world of make believe.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. So I'm curious, Daniel, what kind of inspired you to pursue your current path? How'd you get here?
My background is in IT, and I worked in IT pretty much full time during college. And I've always had the entrepreneurial blood coursing through my veins, and I had various businesses. Actually, in one of the presentations that I do for for people, I show my path from when I was in high school to starting a different business to a different one to a different one, and now Be Known. And I say the only thing I've learned over the past 15 years is how to create a better logo. And so, um, honestly, I had another business right before this, and I was tired of posting on social media for clients and it not generating any revenue or the perception of revenue for the clients. So likes don't equal dollars. We know that. And I set out to say, this was at the time I was taking that shower, and I set out to say, all right, I want to have a company that produces actual, tangible, factual marketing results and ROI for clients. Long story short, it's just been a constant journey of self-improvement, learning, mentorship, books. Did I mention books? And more books? So that's where we are today, if I could compress it in a nutshell.
That makes perfect sense. That's awesome, dude. So, kind of through your journey, I mean, how powerful has networking been to your success? And what would you recommend other entrepreneurs do to up their game?
Yeah. That's an interesting question because I was talking about this just recently with a buddy of mine, and he's full time in the corporate world, and he's talked about entrepreneurship before with me. And, networking has been vital. Most people go about networking in the wrong way, though. They go to networking events, they collect business cards, they maybe follow up, they maybe have a lunch. When I think about networking and the networking that actually works, it's going out there and striking up business friendships, finding strategic partnerships. And I didn't create this concept. I took this from a what I call a mentor I've never met, Jay Abraham. And he talks all about how we can go out there and build up business friendships that can supply us business. I go to someone who already has the attention of my ideal client, who already built up the know, love, and trust factor. And I say, hey, my services are complimentary. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to interview you. I'd love to start working with you and show that I care about this. And in turn, that I can do a good job for if you ever send me business my way. So, that's the two-part question there. I would definitely tell any new entrepreneur starting out, focus on who already has the attention of your ideal buyers. If I own a tire shop, then I would go to every car dealership in my area and say, for every car you sell, here's a coupon. Buy 3, get 1 free. Get a tire free. Give it to everybody who buys a car from you. And over time, we just solidify those business friendships, and we don't ever have to run an ad
Right.
or send out a cold email.
That's an excellent strategy. I think a lot of entrepreneurs definitely underutilize that aspect of, just meeting people and providing value. It's, a lot of people just want to, they meet someone, sell, 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 sell. It's like building long-term relationships and giving them value, maybe connecting them with someone else that would benefit them.
Yeah.
These things all work. And I think it's something that obviously you have down packed. It's definitely something that's contributed to a lot of success. So, kudos to you, man.
Well, Riley, right back at you because what you're doing right now is a tactic of how to build strategic partnerships. I mean, for anybody listening and for anybody maybe you're starting out or want to unlock a new source of leads, host people on a podcast. Oh my gosh, everybody loves to be on podcasts. No secret there. This is a little meta right now, but host people on a podcast and then you can connect them or create a conduit for you to do good for them and law of reciprocity at that point.
Hey, Daniel Pope here. Real quick, I want to give you a huge thanks for listening. If you're enjoying it, I'd love it if you share with others. That's how I get the word out, by you sharing it with somebody that could really benefit from this. Now, I started this podcast to stand out above the noise, to give real growth tactics in a crazy world when others may give some misinformation or not cover everything you need to know. That's not my MO. My MO is being able to give back, being able to help others see what they actually need to do in order to grow. And that's why personally, my company, Be Known, we don't offer any courses or coaching programs. We're a done for you service provider because we know in this world, sometimes people just need a helping hand, a connected team, and an expert to be there every step of the way. So again, I really appreciate you listening and talk to you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what is one of the biggest challenges you've had to face in your life to this point? How did you overcome it? And what is one lesson that you learned from that experience?
Yeah. This is relevant because I think every entrepreneur faces this challenge, whether you're doing a million per year, 10 million per year, or 0 per year. I guess 1,000 per year.
Yeah, give him
Uh,
something, right?
give
Give
them
him something to
something.
work with, man.
It's the shiny object syndrome. I would say that's number one. And then number two is focusing on income producing activities. So, from a realistic stance, I spent almost a decade sharpening my axe, per se. And what I didn't do is I neglected my own lead generation. And I focused on my clients. I focused on studying. I focused on really honing in my skills as a digital marketer and a business growth I hate to use the word expert, but business growth consultant for companies. Um, my business could be 40 times bigger. However, everything happens for a reason. So, when I think about any entrepreneur doing whatever stage, they're always faced with shiny objects. It's the opportunity cost if we want to talk about it in an economic term. And it's hard, man. It's when you're faced with certain decisions. So you've got to have ironclad armor to know hey, I've got to be focused on this. And if this comes up, what's the opportunity cost? Is this going to generate $10 million more over the next 10 years? Or do I need to do this because it's going to generate 50? So a little bit oversimplified, but the what I use is I use AI to actually help me. AI has been a wonderful therapist. It's free. It knows me. It knows how to talk to me. Did I mention it's free? And so what I do is I've had AI create almost like a decision making matrix. If then, just I'm still working on it, but a logical series of steps that I can go through, mental loops, and say, hey, it's not the right time. Is it could do, should do? Is it a dumpster fire or is it a house fire? That type of stuff.
Right. Right. So kind of on the topic of AI, obviously it's impacting every industry. There's new agents coming out every day. How is AI impacting your industry? And essentially, you kind of briefly mentioned this, but how exactly are you utilizing it?
It's funny. I like to tell clients who are obviously or prospects leads coming through. I treat everyone like a client, so that's why I said that. But I treat or I tell prospects that are obviously disqualified. I give them a set of instructions and I tell them to do XYZ. Use this, save $5,000. You don't need an agency at this point. You don't need to pay out 25 grand plus a year. Do this and circle back in 6 months. And so AI has been wonderful for our industry because it has separated the it's really separated out the startups, the wantrepreneurs from the entrepreneurs. And so I use it as a big filter in my sales process, but in my fulfillment process, I use it every single day. My team uses it. We use it to kickstart and jumpstart the copy. We use it to analyze clients' onboarding calls and planning calls. And we use it to analyze client data to aggregate a ton of information. And we could use spreadsheet functions, or we could pop it into Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT. So all that to say, it's been a game changer, and I don't feel threatened by it one bit. You either learn how to use it for your advantage, or you get used by it, and then you fizzle out.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so where do you kind of see your industry going over the next 5 to 10 years?
It's going to get a lot more lean, I see. Um, I was attending a workshop in Miami about this a few weeks ago for agency owners, and they talked about how there are a lot of lead generation agencies out there, and it's going to split off into two paths. One, they're going to become more AI specialists, and then the other side of the coin, they're going to become growth specialists. And so I would rather be a growth specialist. There's no problem at all with becoming an AI specialist, learning how to use AI tools to generate leads, enrich leads, nurture leads, etc. But I would rather come in as a growth partner in businesses and act as not only their marketing team, but more like a fractional CMO and COO. That's the long-term play for Be Known, is to have a portfolio of clients that we have a stake in, even a profit share in, and then we can help their business grow, and it almost creates an annuity. Each client creates an annuity for us, long-term residuals, etc. Probably more than you wanted to know with the AI stuff, but that's how I see it heading.
Yeah.
Is it's going to separate to use this term lightly, the men from the boys,
Yeah.
essentially.
Now, what do you feel like is the biggest problem in your industry? And at the end of the day, what are you guys doing to solve for that?
Oh man, okay. So I mentioned this a little bit. Just I glanced on it. There are a lot of agencies out there, marketing agencies, digital marketing agencies that focus on the wrong things for clients. And there are a lot of people, I'm not going to throw any hate towards them or throw stones, but there are a lot of companies that focus on metrics that don't matter, vanity metrics, smoke and mirror type stuff. And they might not even understand that that's hurting the client. It's just what they've chosen as their core service. For example, social media posting. Organic social media reach is dead unless you do some Hail Mary type stuff, such as giveaways, partnering with an influencer, etc. We just don't work in that realm. Our clients don't need a giveaway of a Dodge Challenger Hellcat to strike up a bunch of leads. We focus heavily in the B2B world. So if we were to niche down a little bit there, a lot of things that have been done wrong are wasted overspend on paid ads. A lot of companies don't truly know what the ROI of their paid ads are compared to organic search, SEO, even social media, strategic partnerships. So most agencies or firms in my industry, B2B specifically, they're not doing proper analysis of the data. Where did the lead come in? What's the customer journey like? The attribution, the source, how do they hear about you? Is this paid advertising spend actually producing a return? Or are we spending it and wow, we're getting leads, but who knows where they came from? Here's what I see. 50% of ad spend, at least 50% is usually wasted.
Yeah,
So,
that's definitely very true. Yeah, you definitely need a partner that's able to really decipher, the best way, the best use of your money. So, no, I definitely
yeah.
agree with that. Now, what advice would you give to someone out there in the audience that, is looking to, dial in marketing, maybe is already do marketing, working with someone there, that's not doing a great job. What advice do you have for these people out there?
Yeah. Marketing is a series of tests. And there's an old adage that says 50% of marketing always works or is profitable. I can't remember the exact phrasing. We just don't know which 50% that is. And I'd take that a step further and I'd say nowadays you can. It's not 1950 anymore, it's 2025. And there are a lot of tools that allow us to aggregate data, organize, and clean data. And that way we can see an ROI. But I would say be intentional about your marketing. But also, don't be afraid just to do it. That's if I were to add a third hindrance to a lot of people, we talked about shiny object, we talked about focusing on income producing activities or what I call IPAs. I would say a third hindrance is the analysis paralysis. And it's the problem that most people just don't do a campaign. Put out the offer, send the email, run the ad. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work. Okay, what's going to happen? You're going to piss off people? You're going to waste $1,000? All right, well, turn down the ad budget. Don't say anything that's going to piss off people. So, it's it goes back to a quote I heard recently, and it's that marketing is like a lightning strike. Lightning does not find the perfect path. It does not take time to find the perfect path and go down linear. What lightning does is it finds a path of least resistance and it just goes hard on it. Bam.
Yep.
And that's why it looks crazy. And that's why sometimes the best marketing campaigns are just a shot in the dark, just something based on intuition and just doing it. So I would say, I could talk for a long time about that, but the decision to not do anything, indecision, is what harms a lot of companies.
Yeah, absolutely. And Daniel, for any of our viewers out there, that do want to connect, collaborate, even work with you guys, what would be the best way for them to get in contact?
Yeah, so my personal email is dpope, DPOPE, like the Catholic guy, dpope at beknownonline.com. It's our website, beknownonline.com. You can schedule a free consultation with me. I take the calls, no sleazy salesman or anything like that. I thoroughly enjoy solving puzzles for clients and then clients who are not yet clients of ours, literally. But you can also find me on LinkedIn, YouTube. If you type in Daniel Pope marketing, be known, I'll most likely come up. But those are the ways to hunt me down and pick my brain.
It's awesome, man. Love that. Well, guys, I'm going to link all of Daniel's stuff in the description. So if you are looking for a growth partner, looking to get help with marketing, definitely reach out to Daniel. He's your guy. And Daniel, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, man. It was a pleasure having you.
Absolutely, Riley. Thanks again.